Welcome. Today we're going to talk about the basic peyote stitch. This is an example of what the stitch itself looks like. After you've learned this basic stitch, it can be embellished like this bracelet. The basic supplies that you will need will be a stringing material. I suggest either Nymo thread, size D, or you can also use a 4-pound fire line. You'll need seed beads in whichever size you choose. Today, for this purpose, I am using number 8s. This is so that you can see how this stitch works a little clearer. You'll go ahead and string on the number of beads that you need and let them rest against what we call a stop bead. A stop bead is a bead that you add onto the end of the thread at the beginning of your stitch and run your needle and thread through that a couple of times to hold it in place. This prevents your beads from going off the end of the thread as you're working. Once you get the number of beads on that are required for your pattern, you'll just need to pick up one more bead on your needle. You're going to skip that first bead and go through the second bead. Today I'm using black and white so that you can see the difference between the beads as we lay them in place. As you pull this up, tighten your thread, you will notice that the first two beads sit up on top of each other. As you work across, each bead is going to sit on top of the previous bead. So you're actually going to skip one bead in this row, and you will pick up the next seed bead. Go ahead and pull your thread up tight. As you do, be sure and adjust your tension, and then you can see how your beads are going to line up. So you'll work the rest of the way across the width of your pattern. When you reach the end of the row, in order to continue with your pattern, you're going to need to flip this over to the other side. A basic flat peyote stitch is worked from side to side. If you'll notice, now that you have this row done, you have got high beads and you have low beads. The high beads are the beads that you are going to use for this stitch. The low beads is where the beads that you are adding will be placed. So once you get that first two rows done, it's very easy to see how this stitch is worked. So you will just work this back and forth in this same stitch until you reach the length that you desire for your project. As you can see, you can work in different stitches, different patterns in this stitch. One is the flat peyote. There's also a tubular peyote. So this stitch is very versatile for both necklaces, earrings, bracelets, almost any jewelry that you would care to make out of it. My name is Marylynn. Thank you very much for joining me today in the Fire Mountain Gems and Beads studio. Please come back again.